Fairy and Stone. My name is Amanda. I am here today to do the reading for the 3rd of November through to the 9th of November. As you can see, I'm in a different spot at the moment. I'm in my new practice room and I am just doing this on the floor because I've got the dishwasher going and I've got the dryer going out in where I usually do it, and it's just too noisy. So we're going to try it in here today. Let's see how I go. Just a reminder also that I have been sick, so I apologise for clearing my throat. I also often have to clear my throat when I have spirit coming through. I do apologise for that and any coughing that I might be doing. It doesn't help too that there's a lot of smoke in the air today, so if I look like I've been crying, I'm not. It's just my eyes water profusely when they're doing burning off at the national park that's close to my house. Okay, so some housekeeping. The cards I'm using today are the Illustrated Herbiary, the Illustrated Crystallary, and the Illustrated Bestiary. All of these oracle decks are done or created by Maia Toll. This is a reading for the collective, so it may not necessarily resonate with you, and if it doesn't, that's okay. Just take what does and leave the rest. I do offer personal readings. However, I will never ever approach you and ask you to have a reading. So if someone does approach you claiming to be me and they want money from you, please do not give them anything. Please just report and block them. Okay, so let's get into it. So what is happening on Monday? So for Monday, we have the white-tailed deer. What's it say? Pause, assess, act. Okay, so I do apologize for the lighting. I know it's not ideal having a window behind me, but if you saw the rest of the room, you know why I'm facing this way. Hopefully all of this stuff will be all organized and in its proper places by the end of next week so that I can start having clients come to my room. Anyway, I digress. So on Monday, we're being asked to pause, assess, and act. If you look at the picture, you'll see that all of the deer are in triangles. So triangles can have a significant spiritual meaning for a lot of people. They can represent the maiden, the mother, and the crone. The Father, the Spirit, and the Holy Son, or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm not religious at all. But I feel like this is more about, not so much about a practical thing, but more about a spiritual or a behavioral type thing. Maybe you're thinking of doing something or acting some way, and this card is saying to you today, just stop before you do it. Don't be impulsive. Just think about it and then assess whether it's the right thing to actually do. And if it is, by all means, go ahead and act. If not, maybe look at a different alternative before you act on what you were going to do. Okay? There could be some more, actually, oh no, Aries is, oh yeah, actually, it could be the moon is going into Aries over the next couple of days. So it could be that impulsive Aries energy that's about at the moment that might make you act a little bit more impulsively than you normally would. And you really don't want to regret doing something. So on Monday, you need to pause, assess, and act. Okay. So on Tuesday, we have Barn Owl. Listen for spirit. Okay, so when we do meditation, when we do mindfulness, when we do breath work, all of that stuff takes us into our heart space. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I associate my heart space with my heart chakra here. This is where I believe my intuition sits in my body. And often when I'm trying to make a decision, I will use a combination of my heart, my gut, and my brain to make that decision. I don't do it always. I usually regret it when I don't do it. But this is where spirit comes through for me. This is where my intuition comes through. This is where messages from above or beyond, or whatever you want to call it, often come through for me. Just sitting here right now, I am listening for spirit to give me guidance on what they want me to talk about with the cards as I'm drawing them. Also, by the way, I have had another card drop. So I'm just sitting at somewhere where I can see it to see if it shoots out at me as being associated with one of the cards that we've drawn. So on Tuesday, we really want you to listen for spirit. We really want you to listen to your intuition. And this can even go back to the Monday where you're acting a bit impulsive. On the Tuesday, you really need to start breathing down into that heart space and listening to what is trying to be told to you. It's not loud like your ego. It doesn't yell at you. It's very soft and it doesn't really need to shout. So you really need to be in that position, in that grounded position that you get when you meditate or when you're being mindful, to actually hear what spirit has to say to you. And, what I do is nothing special. Everybody can hear spirit. Everybody can hear their intuition. You just have to work at it. It's a skill like any other skill, like learning to ride a bike or swim or walk or whatever. Listening to your spirit is also a learned skill. And on Tuesday, we're being asked to really listen, or even if you don't think that you hear spirit, maybe look up a book that you can buy on an e-reader or at a bookshop that can show you how to become more prepared for listening to spirit. In the new year, I'm also thinking about doing some classes about tuning into your intuition and that type of stuff. So stay tuned for that as well. Okay, so Wednesday. We've had this card a couple of times before. It's turquoise, find your way home. Okay, so this card can have a couple of meanings for me. And today they're telling me that this card pertains to the Tuesday card of Listen for Spirit, in that it's talking more about not so much your physical home or a person that you would associate with home. It's talking about your home, your spiritual home, basically. We become so disconnected with all the social media and all the other outward or external influences that we have around us. We often get really, really distracted, and we get really, really disconnected from our home, the place that we call home within us. And that's why we don't listen to spirit, because we think that some influence on social media has all the answers. She doesn't, he doesn't, it doesn't, whatever you want to call it. The only person that you need to listen to for your answers is yourself. You already know everything you need to know to make your life the way you want it. You just have to remember it. And one of the best ways that we can do that is finding our way back to our spiritual home. How do you do that? Meditation. I'm sorry, guys, if you don't like meditation, you're going to have to get on board, because it is one of the quickest and easiest ways to get back connected to spirit, to your intuition. And it's really easy. Meditation is really easy. It doesn't have to be hard. Nothing is hard. Everything has been made to be in our favor. So on Wednesday, we really want you to look at how you can get back to your space, to your inner home, where you're safe and secure and comforted and embraced. So it's very important. And when you find your way home, you will actually be able to listen for spirit much easier as well. Okay, on Thursday, we've got Screech Owl, Get Creative. Okay, one of the best ways for us to, well, one of the simplest ways to find your way home is to be grounded in the present. I've said it once and I'll say it again. The only way you can manifest the life you want is to be present. There's no point thinking about the past and there's no point thinking about the future. You have to be present to be able to act and manifest. Now, manifestation can also be called creativity because we are co-creating the life that we want, or the situation that we want, or the partner that we want, or the job that we want. All of that is creativeness. And I feel like on Thursday that they're really talking about this type of creativity. As you know, each week we have some lesson that we need to focus on, and this is what we're focusing on this week. It's about being able to listen to spirit. It's about being able to manifest what we want in our life. And the best and easiest way to do that is to get creative, like to do stuff here, to be physical, to act on the wishes that we've made at new moon, or the goals that we write in our planners and things like that. We really need to get creative. And rather than talking about painting and cooking and music and all those physical, mundane types of creativity, I'm talking more about the act of co-creation. So on Thursday, Spirit wants you to be more involved in your co-creation, not letting outside influences or external influences just push you into wherever they want you to go. They want you to be in control of that, but it's very hard to be in control of that if you're not listening to your intuition, if you're not listening for spirit, if you don't realize that this is your home here, if you don't be present and act on what you want to create, then you never ever are going to create the life that you want. So it's really important that on Thursday that you get creative, and in that stance, think about what actions you need to take to get to where you want to go. That's the act of creating. Okay, so on Friday, we have comfrey. What needs mending? On Friday, we're being asked what needs mending. When I asked them what they mean by this card, they spoke to me about the parts of ourselves that we often leave when we experience trauma, or when we get attached to someone who might be an energy vampire, or someone who's been in our life that we no longer associate with, but have had an experience that has in some way changed us, whether that's for the for the good or for the worse. And we often leave parts of ourselves in these experiences. And the more parts that we leave for ourselves out and about, the more scattered and unable to create a life that we want, we will be. So this card on Friday is saying you need to look at any traumatic experiences that you may have experienced in the past, any people that you felt might be still attached to you in some way because they have a part of you. You need to call these parts back to yourself to make yourself whole again. Now, there would be guided meditations for this. You might want to look on an app like Insight Timer maybe. But I've just basically found the simplest way to do this is to just go into a meditation. Imagine yourself standing there, arms open, and saying something like, I now call back all parts of me that I've left behind in past experiences. It is now time to return home. And then just imagine these parts, these energetic beings or energetic lights coming back and coming back into your heart space. You might have to do this a few times, maybe for a week or so, but just keep doing it. Every time you feel like, oh, I feel a bit scattered, or I'm trying to co-create this, but I'm having a really hard time, maybe I need to call in those parts of myself. And you may feel also that if when you do this, that you may have stuff come up that you haven't thought about in a while. If that happens, then there is stuff that you still need to process. And I'd pull out my journal and I'd start processing it. Why am I feeling like this again? What has that experience taught me? What can I what can I now let go that I no longer need? That type of thing. So Friday is really about connecting with all parts of yourself, bringing them all home so that you can be whole, which makes it a whole lot easier for you to co-create the life that you want. Okay. So on Saturday, we have Sujilai, feel in order to know. Okay, Sujilai, such a beautiful, beautiful crystal. I have a great big piece that I wear on a chain. It's often all about the universal love, unconditional love, but not so much person to person, but as a global community as a whole. Okay, so in order for us to co-create properly, to bring things into our life, we need to feel with emotion. You will never know your wishes. You will never manifest them if we use the word know as another word for manifest or create. We will never be able to manifest or create our wishes or our intentions if we do not feel with emotion. Emotions are like the fuel to a car. They make it go. So if you want something, say a new job, you need to, first of all, write down all the things about the job, about what your perfect job would entail. So do you have an office of your own? Is it by a park so you can go there at lunchtime? What are the people like? How much do you get paid? That type of thing. I maybe wouldn't be so specific as I would like to work for Disney. Maybe I would like to work for an animation company that does this, this, and this. Because there could be someone better than Disney out there for you, you know, that type of thing. So don't get too specific, but get specific enough that you know exactly what your job entails to make it your perfect job. Then I want you to visualize. Now, a lot of people have problems with visualization, and I totally get it. I have problems with it too. If I close my eyes and start visualizing, you can be sure enough that I'm going to fall asleep. So I often visualize with my eyes open. I focus on one thing in front of me. And if I have nothing in front of me, I might put a candle or a bowl or just a glass of water or something. And I just focus on that. And I just see like a screen in front of me playing a movie that is playing out my intention created. Okay, and it has to be created as if it's already done. Don't worry about how you got there. Just focus on visualizing it as if it's already there. Then what you need to do is you need to get behind that visualization. You need to create the feelings in your heart space, in your gut, in your head that make you feel what it would feel like if that intention or that wish had come true. It's by adding those emotions, by adding the feelings, that will allow you to know your intention, to create it. And that's what we're being asked to do on Saturday. Feel in order to know. Use your emotion to fuel your intentions, to fuel your visualizations. Okay. Okay, so for Sunday, we have Almadine Garnett, Lessons in Blood. If you look at this card, you can see I'm hoping you can see it. This little row here looks like a DNA strand. And then we've also got the moon phases through here, which obviously the new moon is sitting behind the garnet. You can't quite see it. And I feel like, sorry, I'm just going to put my glasses on so I can see that tree properly. I feel like the fruit on the tree could be pomegranates or apples or things like that. Something that talks about the seeds of life. If you've ever cracked open a pomegranate, you'll know that they're just full of seeds. And I really feel like this is connected to your ancestors. It's about, when it says about lessons in blood, it's about the things that are passed down to us through our DNA, through our ancestral line, that are lessons that we need to learn, or that our ancestors were supposed to learn and didn't do so in their lifetime. So if an ancestor doesn't learn a lesson in their lifetime, it often gets passed down through the bloodline, basically, until someone breaks that cycle. And I was only talking to my dad actually about this yesterday, about breaking the cycle. So, you know, my dad was quite poor when he was growing up. They didn't have a real lot of money. His mum was a single mum and she was raising, I think, four children. So there often wasn't enough money for things to go around. And I just spoke to my father about how he had broken that cycle for his kids, because we always had a roof over our head, food on our table, clothes on our back, you know, good educations. We never wanted for nothing. So I was talking about how he had broken that cycle. And I feel like this card is saying you need to look back through your line and look at the cycles that are perpetuating through each generation, and what is your part in that, and how can you stop or break that cycle? Now, some cycles are good, they're positive, but most of the time the cycles that we see or get our attention, they're the cycles that are not that good. So like, for example, alcoholism or poverty or drug taking, those type of things, they often run in a family because nobody has broken the cycle. Nobody has learnt the lesson behind that trauma or that experience. So on Sunday, you're being asked to learn your lessons, your ancestral lessons. And it would be good, you know, go somewhere, go and sit in a park or down by the beach or somewhere, and just take a notebook and just jot down the things that you see in your family that keep happening over and over and over again with each generation. And then think about how that affects your life and what you can do. What steps can you take to break that trauma or that experience? Once you break that experience, you affect not only your life, but the life of all future generations, but it also goes backwards to the ancestors that have come before you. So it's a really important lesson. And quite deep for a Sunday. I know that my Sundays, I usually like to do 0 as little as possible. But on this Sunday, we're being asked to think about the lessons that we have been sent to learn through our family line. Okay. So the overall theme is labradorite. Can you see that? It is called Recharge Your Destiny. Oh, now this is one of my favorite crystals. I've got a huge piece of this, and it just looks like a big blacky blue blob until you walk past it in a certain light, and then it just comes to life. I just love this stone so much. And of course, our theme for this week is Recharge Your Destiny. So if you think about everything we've just talked about, it is talking about making changes now, clearing the decks, bringing spirit into your life and using that communication, that guidance to help you run your day to day. That's what they're there for. Not just for the big decisions, but the day-to-day stuff. About getting creative, co-creating the life that you want, calling the parts of you from past traumas back to you so that you can be whole, so that you can fully be immersed in the co-creation of your life. Feeling, putting emotion behind that co-creation, putting emotion behind the wishes and the intentions that you have, so that you can really know what it's like to achieve the things that you want to achieve in your life. And then thinking about the lessons that you've learned from your ancestral line, and is there something that you can do to break those cycles so that future and past generations can be healed as well as yourself? Doing all these things will really, really help recharge your destiny. You know, we're coming out of a 9 years, and we're going into a 1 year. So ones are new beginnings. You could even most probably feel that energy coming through now, because the energy starts to change towards the end of the year. And I know I myself can feel it. A lot of things are finishing up, and there's that new lighter energy coming in that heralds new beginnings. Spirit wants you to be ready for that, for next year, when we come in and we have all these other opportunities come up for us. Spirit wants us to be ready. And by being ready, you need to recharge your destiny. You need to do the work. And it's just, you know, I know that I'm always harking on about doing the work. You need to do it. There is always going to be work to do. So just don't think, oh, look, I'll just skip this lot and I'll go on to the next lot. You need to do the work. You know, you can't skip ahead. You have to do this work to get the rewards later. And if you've watched my November video, you'll know that that is a theme for this month. Letting go of the old, letting go of what no longer serves you. Stop thinking of yourself as a victim. Doing the work so that you can get the rewards later on, so that the opportunities can come in for you, so that you can live a 10 of Pentacles life. So if you haven't watched my November video, I'll try and put it up here if I remember. I have been having technical difficulties. Mercury retrograde is coming up at the end of this week, this week that I'm filming now. So we're most probably going to have even more problems with our technology, but I will try and put it up here for you. Okay, well, that's it for today. Thanks for your patience. I'm sorry I've been clearing my throat and for the lighting. I'm hoping by next week all of this will be all cleared up. The mist that is behind the camera, and I will be able to film somewhere where there's a better backdrop and the lighting is better too. Thank you so much for your patience over these last couple of weeks while I haven't been well. I really, really, really appreciate it. If you like this video, I would love it if you could subscribe or follow, like, comment, and share. It really helps me get out to be seen by more people. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me either via the comment section below or DM me on Facebook, or contact me via the contact page on my website. Talking about my website, if you want to know more about what I actually do apart from these readings, go to www.storyandstone.com.au. You can also sign up for my newsletter there on the front homepage, which at this point will give you 10% off your first session with me. And remembering that the first few people that come through, there are goodie bags here for you as well, as a thank you for helping me support my business. Now, I am relaunching my business in the next few weeks. Don't have a confirmed date yet. I've got a lot going on this month, so I don't want to push myself and then not be able to open properly. So stay tuned for that. As I said, if you want to keep up to date with what's going on at Story and Stone, please sign up for my newsletter. Okay, that's it. I've warbled on enough. I can feel my throat is getting very, very scratchy. So I think I'm most probably going to start coughing soon. So have a great week, and I will see you in the next video.